First item on the agenda is roll call.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Alderman Marshall. Here. Alderman Kelly.
Here.
Alderman West.
Here.
Alderman Headley.
Here.
Alderman Schaper.
Here.
Next item is invocation led by Pastor Ray Green from Cross Creek Baptist Mission, be followed by a pledge of allegiance from Alderman Johnson.
Before I pray, I just want to, I don't think people ever get thanked enough for the great job that they do. And I just want to thank you all and say I appreciate the time we invest in the rough decisions that you have to make sometimes. Thank you. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for a good day you've given to us today. And I thank you for these people who have assembled tonight for good things to happen for Green Valley. And I just ask you to be with each one of these that have to vote for a decision tonight. And I don't know everything on the agenda, but I know sometimes it's difficult. It takes a lot of, it takes wisdom. It takes a lot of just going over things and really weighing them out for the good of everyone. And I pray that you'll give them that wisdom and that leadership tonight. And for these who have special presentations, we thank you for them and we appreciate them. Our police force here, God, thank you, watch over them and take care of them. I ask you to just bless Green Valley, that we will continue to grow for the good, that our children will be safe and they will be taught well in school. And God, I pray that they will grow leaders here out of our school system. And as they go off to college and to the military and doctors and lawyers and people who do a lot of difficult chores, may you bless them greatly. And I'll ask these things all in the name of Jesus. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, next item is the approval of the agenda.
No changes, Mayor.
Okay. See no changes to that, no proclamations. Move on to citizens' participation. We ask citizens step forward to the microphone and podium and address the board. Please give your name and address for the record. Do we have anyone who wishes to address the board this evening?
Good evening, my name is Jan Drill. I live at 1035 Southwest Ephraim. I've been a citizen of Green Valley for 8.5 years. 25 months ago, I came before you and asked you to consider some kind of limitations on payday loans coming into our city. For 2 years and 1 month, I've come once in a while to ask. Generally, I've been told that the board would like to wait until the Blue Springs ordinance, which has been challenged in court, that case was decided. I have that court's decision. The court found in favor of the ordinance and in favor of Blue Springs. I also have, I gave you when I first came the ordinance, but I brought another copy of the Blue Springs ordinance. I'm not sure it's suitable for Green Valley, but I know that we need something. I know that you all are familiar with what payday loans can do to a community. And I stopped by today at Tower Loans. They told me they were not a payday loan, but they would lend me $800 on my furniture. But they don't do unsecured loans. So I'm not complaining about that, although I think they have come into the city since I brought the issue before you. These payday loans suck resources out of the community. They lead to blight surrounding the area. They are a security issue. They are a law enforcement issue. And I ask again that you take into consideration some kind of appropriate ordinance, something along the lines of the way you regulate liquor stores and bars and that kind of thing that would keep us from being overrun. Blue Springs doesn't allow them anymore. They have 11, so you can easily see that we could very quickly be overrun by this kind of business that could take the resources out of our community. Even the one company I was at today is not a local or even Missouri company, so the profit then goes out of the city. So I wonder if you would please consider it. If you are absolutely opposed to considering this issue, I ask you to be honest with me. This has been going on 2.5 years I've been working on it. If it's something that you aren't going to consider at all, I'd like to know.
Ryan, did we finish an ordinance on it and just need a sponsor? What was?
Yeah, actually, before the November, the agreement that the court came to back in November of 2014, we had started to work on a draft of an ordinance to present to the board. With that decision, we can go ahead and proceed with it with a sponsor from the board.
And when would that happen?
It's been on someone to sponsor it or not. One of the aldermen would have to sponsor it, and then it could happen. Next meeting or whatever.
Okay. And it would probably be, I would say, another month out, just simply because once staff is complete with it, then we're going to have legal take a look at the ordinance, and we would put it before the board.
Okay, I don't want to waste your time by coming every 2 weeks, but I would like to see something done as a real protection for us. Thank you.
Anyone else wish to address the board? All right. Seeing none, move on to consent agenda.
I move to accept the consent agenda.
Have a motion from Alderman Scully to accept the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Headley. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Seeing no previous business, move on to new business. Under new business, we have police promotions.
Mayor, council, I'd like to formally introduce to you, we've done some reshuffling of the command staff of the Grand Valley Police Department, and I wanted to formally introduce several recent promotions to both you, the council, and to the community. You have been recognized, you have many years of service here. I can tell you already that this will be excellent for the overall effectiveness of the police department. So the following have been promoted within the past 2 weeks. I'd like to present Captain Jeff Tomczyk. Promoted to Captain James Veal. Promoted to Sergeant Heather Steele. Promoted to Sergeant Shannon Larkin. Promoted to Sergeant Anthony Digliaturo. And soon to change jobs, being promoted to Detective Jennifer McClure. And if I might take the opportunity, Officer McClure is on the books as a detective because of the shortage until we hire some people. She'll be filling in as a patrol officer for a few more weeks. However, to show that she is actually a detective, I'm now ordering her. She will now wear her official detective badge. So there you are. We're not done.
All I see. This is why he takes pictures.
Quarantine. Technology.
Yeah.
If any family members want to come forward,
Grab a picture real quick.
Okay.
Please.
if any family members want to come forward with their captain or sergeant or detective, please do so.
Yeah. As long as I stay hidden back here, I'm good. Bring all the family up. Just want we have them come up one at a time, Cleo, and do it that way.
Do, one family photo.
You know, when I looked at my closet, I almost pulled out the skirt and looked almost just like that.
How are you? Congratulations.
Do you have any more family?
Take a break.
One, two, three, and one more. There we go.
It's gonna take off here for a long time. I'm using that term.
Do you want to come on this side? There you go. There.
Don't go violently, dude. Don't go violently, dude. I would. I'd do it every day. Call her every day, just ask
Anyone else? Notice how Heather's not giving your phone
One
You know better.
One more. Oh, you ain't done yet.
Yeah.
He's watering my. That's all right.
We're trying to stay out of trouble. That's right.
I make squares, and now I'm trying to learn how to have I don't know. I just have no idea how to. I'm working with the cutters, and I go, let's say working, and I rip it all up. This is what I call my trial and error. Or I can flip this color, this is my trial and error. And I wrap it in, so it all gets ripped out, we start.
Okay, next item then, see no other new business, nothing under discussion, move on to ordinances.
Bill P 15-02, second reading, ordinance 2353, an ordinance appointing Tammy Love as deputy city clerk, city of Green Valley, Missouri. Second reading, ordinance 2353.
Accept bill number B 15-2 for second reading, making an ordinance number 2353.
I have a motion from Alderman Johnson to approve Bill B 15-02 for its second reading, making ordinance 2353. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Scully. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
West,
Yes.
Scully,
Yes.
Headley,
Yes.
Arnold. Yes. Johnston.
Yes.
Schaefer.
Yes.
6-0, Mayor. Jamie. Bill B 15-03, second reading, it will be ordinance 2354. It is an ordinance approving the final plat, East Kansas City Industrial Park, 11th plat, City of Green Valley, Missouri. Second reading, ordinance 2354.
Mayor, I move that we accept bill number B 1503 for its second reading, making it ordinance number 2354.
I have a motion from Alderman Schaefer to approve Bill B 15-03 for its second reading, making ordinance 2354. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Scully. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Scully,
Yes.
Headley,
Yes.
West,
Yes.
Arnold. Yes. Schaefer,
Yes.
Johnston.
Yes.
6-0, Mayor. Resolution 15-03, a resolution by the Board of Aldermen, City of Green Valley, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to purchase water meters for the 2015 meter replacement program. Resolution R 15-03.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mayor, recommend that we accept resolution, R-15-3.
I have a motion from Alderman Johnson to approve resolution R-15-03. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Headley.
Ready? We'll get
Any
more on
discussion?
this slide.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Here you go, Jamie. Resolution R-15-04 is a resolution by the Board of Aldermen, City of Green Valley, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to enter into an agreement with Midwest Pool Management for management of the Green Valley Aquatic Center for the 2015, 16, and 17 seasons. Resolution R-15-04.
Mayor, I move we accept resolution R-15-4 as read.
I have a motion from Alderman Johnson to approve resolution R-15-04. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Scully. Any discussion?
Let Mr. Davies speak to this before you guys have discussion.
Again, this contract is for a 3-year period for the upcoming 2015, 2016, and 2017 pool seasons. This is with Midwest Pool Management, who we have had for the last 6 years that has ran our pool management. Again, part of this contract is and manager and assistant manager presence at the pool during open swim, and then any guards we need for special events like private pool parties, swim lessons, and water aerobics. As far as concessions operations, the city will retain that and staff that. We also will run swim lessons, the water aerobics program, and of course the private rentals are booked through the community center. Part of this contract also includes the insurance, chemicals for the entire year, and then maintaining water chemistry, and of course the winterizing and unwinterizing of the facility every year. In 2014, the contracted amount with Midwest Pool Management this past season was $95,090. From 2012 to 2013, it went from $91,000 to $93,000, and then 2013 to 2014 was $93,000 to $95,000. So about $1,700 to $2,000 increase each year. For 2015, it reflects $99,172, and you're looking at close to a $4,000 jump. The main reason for this is because there is an extra week this year between Memorial Day and Labor Day. As you all know, minimum wage increases every year. Our chemicals increase every year. Everything seems to increase each year, which explains the increase. Just as an FYI, these amounts are a not-to-exceed amount, which in essence means the city pays this full amount throughout the contracted year, and then at the end, the city receives a reimbursement for labor and chemicals and things of that nature when the pool wasn't open due to inclement weather, when we closed early, when we opened late. We keep track of that over the course of the season, and we get reimbursed that amount for those hours, days that the pool was not open. So the contracted amount of the not-to-exceed amount this past year was $95,000. We received back $14,800 in reimbursements this past year. The year before that, we received $14,546 back in reimbursements. So it's highly dependent on how good the summer is when it has to deal with precipitation, with air temperature, water temperature, and things of that nature. So anyway, we did put this out for bid. We did receive 2 bids back, which is one more than what we received 3 years ago when we went through this process. The other firm that submitted a bid had several issues with the bid. There was an invalid bid bond. We asked that we wanted references from other municipal pool operations here locally that this particular vendor had been with for 5 years consecutively. And only one of which they are currently with, and that was with an HOA. There were two references that they managed for the minimum of 5 years. The 3 years, the three other references were less. Only 3 of the 5 references were municipal government pools. There were no local references. The references they provided were Kentucky, California, Georgia, and Wyoming. There was no mention of any end-of-season reimbursement through the second vendor or the second bidder. So we started to do a little bit more research on our end, and this particular vendor lost their accreditation with the Better Business Bureau back in 2014, and the list goes on with issues from the second bidder. So the bid was incomplete, which is why we'd like to move forward with Midwest Pool Management. They met all the bid requirements, and they have a successful history with us here in Grain Valley. So I'd entertain any questions if you have them.
He answered, okay. Anyone else have anything?
You answered everything I'd had for you, but, on season passes, since we're talking about the pool, were we up on season passes last year, down?
I believe we were a little down from the year before, but our daily admissions were up, and sometimes those just fluctuate differently each year.
You know, the housing market's starting to come back a little bit this year. Last year we did somewhere around 60 permits. I'm guessing, what's your thoughts as far as looking into the future, outgrowing our pool?
Well, I honestly, I think we're already there and have been there probably for 3 or 4 years now. There are times when the weather's optimal that we hit our bather load or our carrying capacity for that facility, where people actually have to wait outside until visitors leave, and then we let them in. So it gets, on those hot days, it gets really crowded, and it has for a while now.
Right, Chad.
Practice for staffing only. It doesn't have to do with replacement or repair or anything of the swimming pool.
No, this will cover some minor repairs, like in the chemical room and the pump house and things of that nature, or there are things like the life preservers or the life jackets that we check out, or some of the CPR equipment we have. But any major repairs or replacement of equipment would be the responsibility of the city.
Shannon, can you share with everyone what you shared with us at the park board meeting last week or the week before, relative to the staffing, how that works if they are short-staffed here?
Yeah, one of the great thing with Midwest Pool Management is that they are a local firm. They're headquartered out of St. Louis, but then they have a second office in Independence right off of 40 Highway, not too far from the Bass Pro Shop over there. They also manage Adventure Oasis in Independence. It's a water park. The Tiffany Hills in Kansas City, they probably have 4 or 5 different water parks. The Bay, Tiffany Hills, and a few others. Warrensburg, Nassif Center, they run that. And then they have a few facilities in Lee Summit as well. The advantage of that is, per state law, we have to have so many lifeguards cover so much area. And if we don't have those lifeguards, we don't open. And not only is that a disservice to our community, but it's also a day where we'll lose revenue. So the great thing with Midwest Pool Management is if they run into an issue where we're short staffing, they can pull lifeguards from these other facilities in these other towns who are also employed through Midwest Pool Management and have the same training, the same certifications, and so forth and so on, so that we can always open and operate on time.
Anyone else have anything? Right there. Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Unanimous, Mayor. Resolution 15-05, resolution by the Board of Aldermen, City of Grain Valley, Missouri, authorizing the city administrator to purchase a John Deere 997 commercial mower for the Parks and Recreation Grounds Maintenance Fleet. Resolution R 15-05.
Mayor, I move we accept resolution 15-05 as read.
I have a motion from Alderman Headley to accept resolution R15-05. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Scully. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, we don't have anything further than what was in the packet unless you have additional questions.
Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign.
Unanimous. Thank you.
Next item is city attorney's reports.
Nothing, Your Honor.
Next item is city administrator and staff reports.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we'll start with Shannon.
Quick, I want to pass out some information on our spring baseball softball league. I know at our last meeting, I had mentioned that I would come to this meeting with kind of an update on how that's going now that we are running those leagues here through the Parks and Recreation Department. And I won't go over the entire sheet in detail. Everything that you'll find on the sheet is pertaining to what we offer with registration is currently on our website. But our registration did open up February 1st. To date, over the last 9 days, we're just short of about 50 kids right now that have registered. Experience has shown us that generally towards the latter half of the registration period is when we start receiving more and more registrations. If you have an opportunity to take a look at our online registration website, it's at www.gbteamsports.com. And that's given us the ability for patrons to not have to come into the community center to register their kids. They can do everything online, and then we manage those registrations through our offices. The first page just basically represents what we're currently offering for both baseball and softball, both at a recreational level as well as a competitive level. Wanted to spend just a little bit more time on the second sheet. We've provided this information on our website as well as in our lobby, as well as our online registration website. We just wanted to kind of provide some history on fees in Green Valley to play baseball and softball. So the table there in the middle of the second sheet, wanted to provide you with a comparison of what the fees were charged last year during summer season for baseball and softball, and what we are currently charging through the Green Valley Parks and Recreation Department. And the next question might be, well, with our fees being reduced, what are we sacrificing or what are we getting rid of? Historically, kids have been outfitted with a hat, jersey, pants, socks. Part of the registration fee through us is just the same quality jersey and hat. The jersey's dry deck, shirt, moisture wick, hat's embroidered. But we're leaving the pants and socks and any other apparel up to the parents. Generally, pants and socks cost $12 to $15. As you can see in the reduction of fees that are on there, we're anywhere from $15 to $25 cheaper. So even with parents having to buy the pants and socks, they're still saving money overall. The other thing that we've seen over time as parents have talked to us is that oftentimes kids can wear the same pants they wore the spring before or this past fall season. Or they have siblings that participated years ago that the little ones can now fit into. The socks, my girls have played softball for the last 4 years, and the socks are the same size from T-ball all the way up to 10 and under. And we've got a dresser filled full of socks. And so this allows parents not to be forced to have to pay additional dollars for pants and socks when they can still possibly use what was used last year. The other thing that we're doing that has not been done in the past is we are providing a sibling discount. So those families that have multiple kids that want to register and play sports, the first child pays full price, and then every child after that receives $10 off the registration amount. And then we just kind of go into a little bit more information about what the registration fee covers when it comes to expenses with our league. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to provide some additional information on that. I know there's been some discussion in the community here recently. I've had some Board of Aldermen contacting me about some of the discussion that's going on with the reduced pricing and what we are or not offering. So I just wanted to provide a little bit of clarification on this, so that if you all do get approached by families, that you do in fact have this information. And the first meeting in March, I'll provide another update once our registrations are over to let everybody know how many kids we have signed up for the season. Mr. Murphy?
I got a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chuck.
Are the coaches or something, because the complaint I heard was they wanted uniformity in it. Are the coaches gonna try and get some, recommend to the kids where they can get matching pants to what the other ones have or whatever?
Yeah, and let me explain that process a little bit too. Basically, through our coaches' meetings, once the registration process is over with, that's the point in time where we will assign kids to teams. And so these coaches will receive, in essence, the information that was provided on our website that lists parent contacts, emergency contact, uniform sizing, which would be jersey, pants, any special requests, whether it's to be with a certain coach, a certain team, wants to play with a certain classmate. And that coach then has those 8 to 12 kids' information on their jersey, pants, and so forth with sizing. So in essence, what we will then tell the coach is that at their convenience, any of the parents can come by the community center. We have sizers where the kids can actually come in, use the locker rooms to try on to make sure that they've got the right size top, pants, and then they submit that size to the coach. So the coach then receives all the sizing for all the players, and like I said, with the uniform and the hat, that'll be uniform across the board. And based off of what we're working out with our provider is the pants and the socks will be also uniform across the board unless the coach talks with his or her parents and says, hey, would we like to upgrade and have a bigger weight pant or pinstripes down the side or names on the back of the jersey, which they have the option to do, but they have to pay an additional for those extras. So the parents won't be going to the t-shirt shop to place the order. That'll all be done through the coach, and then the coach will bring in the entire order. I don't know if that answered your question.
No, it's just one, we're gonna assist them in trying, that's the complaint I heard, they didn't want to see kids, one kid out there in, jeans or tan
Right.
pants or whatever they want.
Right.
They want uniformity throughout the entire uniform.
Yeah, and it will be, and through that process, we'll make sure that it is.
That's up to the coach basically tells the boys you're gonna wear white pants or you're gonna wear blue pants. And
Right.
then if they want, like, what you're saying is if, as a team, if they wanna buy pants themselves, they can all pitch in and buy the pants with the stripes. But that'd be something that all the parents can vote on.
Exactly, and for example, with the softball team that I've coached in the past, is we have the parents meeting, and usually the kids decide what color they want to be. We ask the parents if they want their first names on the back. If so, it's an additional $3 that they pay me, and then I pay the t-shirt provider or any other additionals. But that order then comes to me, and then when I get it, when we have our first practice, then that's when we distribute the tops, the pants, the hats, and so everything is same color, same design, same brand, same everything.
I know with my son, when he plays, the coach sends out an email that says we're gonna wear blue jerseys this game with white pants, white shirt, whatever, and so they know before every game what they're to look like.
Right.
So, Shannon, I got one for you. I've got asked a couple different times this last 2 weeks. Do you, I know getting this season underneath your belt since it's our first year, but do you foresee us moving up to 15, 16 U-ball, or are you gonna stop at 14?
We really haven't thought about it at this point in time. I know one of the biggest, probably concerns with that is, as kids get older, generally there's less and less kids participating, especially with that age range when high school offers that, the school district offers that. But I know there's Legion Ball and things like that cover that age group, so it's not only being able to offer it, but being able to offer it to where there's enough teams around to be able to play. And that's why we're interleaguing with Oak Grove, Odessa, Wellington, Lexington, so that even if we're a little light in a certain age division, we still have these other teams from these other communities to compete in. And
that would be the ultimate, I guess, decision is do we have those teams in the community to be able to play against? But it's not anything we aren't gonna rule out, it's just not anything we really thought.
If they're playing high school ball, they can't play on their team, correct, during the season?
That's correct. With Missouri State High School Activity Association guidelines, they could. So we would in essence be pulling probably more of your rec kids for 15 and 16, to participate, which is something we could definitely look into.
I just had some parents ask me, we were gonna go past that. I said, well, we gotta get the first thing with our belt.
It would have to be more of a summer league, you wouldn't be able to really start practicing until like June.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, I know for the spring season generally, we're looking at practices starting late March, early April. Games usually start late April, early May. We always try to be wrapped up by the end of June, because generally the first part of July, mid-July is when they have U-Trip state tournaments or all the tournaments the teams will go to. So that's kind of the timeline we're going with.
Mr. Murphy?
Mayor Board, I got a few things for you. The first one, just kind of wanted to give you an update, let you know that we are still working with MoDOT to try and see what can be done with the 40 highway and Snybart intersection. It looked like the striping that we had talked about, Rick has brought to their attention. It looks like that's something that actually can go forward. I don't know the real technical details on it, but it basically is supposed to make everything a little more clear at night. They do have an application into the FAA. It's supposed to be an amended request for a light at that intersection. We haven't heard back yet on what that is. We have a message into MoDOT to try and get an update on that. But, as soon as we hear anything on that, we will send something out through email just to let you know. It's an ongoing concern with the community. So at this point, that's all we have, but we are continuing to try to work with them. Next, we got MoDOT tentatively told us that Kansas City Southern is going to have their contractor starting next week, the week of the 16th. Down there working on moving their signals out so we can go forward with the project. It's basically going to be widening out, kind of going east and west there at their intersection. Purpose of that is, because in the bid we said we didn't want the road to be completely closed at any one point. They are have to put temporary signals out there that are wider, so we can basically make Main Street a little wider during construction. So kind of similar to the MGE project that was going on down there, where they had their contractor doing some gas line work kind of in front of our actual construction of the road. So we should have some more information out for the business owners and residents down there on the 19th of February. We have a pre-construction meeting with MoDOT. Hopefully at that time we'll have some more dates, and then we can push that information out to the business owners and residents that are going to be affected by that. And then lastly, we got some good news last week. We found out that we did receive a grant for basically $129,000 through Transportation Alternative Program. It's actually a MoDOT program, but it's handled by Mark. And what that would do is the south side of Eagles Parkway, basically kind of from Garden over to the high school. They would put that sidewalk there that's missing on the south side, and then also give crosswalks on either side of Kirby, where the kids can go across Eagles Parkway, and then also the crosswalk to the school entrance there. So over the next couple of weeks, we'll be meeting with the school to kind of get a game plan with them. So it'll kind of be a little partnership between the two of us there. But on that, the city's match is going to be roughly $32,000. With that, design won't even start until 2016 because it's 2017 money. So no construction would happen until 2017. But it's always good news. It's one of those things that we always like to do, but it's kind of hard coming up with that money when, we have a laundry list of other things that need to be done at the same time. But that was some good news. Actually, Rick Arroyo is the one that put that application together, and starting to get pretty good, I think, with the old application process here. We're getting some good results. So anything new with that, I'll let you know.
how does that line up with, any of the improvements along Peoples Parkway, timing-wise?
Timing-wise, the real answer is we don't know. I mean, we don't have any funds actually set aside right now for those road improvements. But where the sidewalk would go, it would be such that when the road improvements are made, the sidewalk would stay. If you look right now in front of Old Town Marketplace, you know, the sidewalk's kind of back off where the road currently is quite a bit. If you could just imagine that basically going due west, that would be the line. So that'd be the easiest way to think about it, I guess. So we're not tearing up what we just got grant money for when we do those improvements.
What's the projected completion date for the, widening project to Main?
That's what we hope to have, the 19th, we're having a pre-construction meeting with MoDOT, and the contractor, so hopefully we'll get some dates and see exactly what they're planning on there. That was a big request from the board, is letting everybody know, you know, what's coming, so we've kind of been waiting to actually get some dates, but hopefully we'll have that here in the next couple of weeks, and we'll be able to get that out to everyone.
Hey, Ken, when will, I might already have it, I'm just forgetting, when will we have, like a, look at the streets that we're gonna do this summer and the sidewalks and curbs? I know we got Foxtail is gonna be one of the streets that we're gonna start with.
CIP project.
Yes, I'm sorry, my bad, yeah, CIP. I need to get a copy of that again,
It's actually on the website too, if we ever get the hard copy.
Have we changed that up from what what we started out with? I can't remember off the top of my head. From what streets we're gonna do. I know Foxtail was was number one.
The picture is what changed the actual distance. We always planned on doing the whole stretch of Foxtail. The picture showed a smaller portion of that.
Right.
But if you look at the actual language on that page, it's the entire thing.
Okay.
And so we've also put money in there for going through and doing some of the deep patches and the concrete work that needs to be done at the same time.
Thanks, sir.
Just to Ken's comment also, originally the project was 12 months from mobilization to the end. So they're thinking, as of now, they probably spring 2016. They've got a good head start on utilities, though, so we hope for winter. So, I'm going to hand out a policy here to you. If you guys remember, around Christmas, we talked about the holiday schedule and possibly coming back to you with a proposed policy to eliminate every time that we have a holiday, Christmas or New Year's on Thursday or on Tuesday, it seems that we have to come to you for a resolution. And so this is a proposed policy from staff, and it just literally says, in the event that Christmas and New Year's holidays fall on Tuesday, the day before each holiday shall be observed as a holiday. If the holiday falls on a Thursday, the day after the holiday shall also be observed as a holiday. So, sort of the direction that you gave staff, so I wanted to provide you with this copy of it and get an idea from you if you would like to see this back as a resolution to amend the personnel policy. I do not need an answer on that tonight, although we are ready to proceed with it as soon as you would like. Any questions about that? The only other thing that I wanted to mention is that the Green Valley Chamber of Commerce has their 10th annual Taste of the World coming up Friday, March 20th. It's going to be down at the Centerline Pavilion. It's from 7 to 9 p.m., so if you would like to attend that, mark your calendars. You can purchase your tickets from Lori Wilby-Kobe down at her law office. It's at 510 Main Street, or you can also call the Chamber for more information about it. The tickets are $10 in advance or $15 at the door. And there's a senior 55 and up, 2 for $10, but I don't think anybody up there qualifies for it. Insert laugh, Mayor.
Thank you.
Wow. Take that off my nose there. Thank you. That's all staff has.
All right. Next up is Board of Aldermen reports and comments. Alderman Arnold.
Nothing at this time.
Alderman West.
Nothing at this time.
Alderman Headley.
Quick question, you sent out an email, Ryan, about that young man that got struck on 40 Highway. Is there any status on that? And I know some of that's private, but have you heard anything, how he's
Yeah,
doing?
actually, Chief Starbuck probably give you the
The
update.
other day, he remains in intensive care, so he is responsible.
That's all.
Alderman Scully.
Nothing at this time.
Alderman Schaper.
One quick thing for Ryan, or Ken, the house on Ryan Road, once again, looks like it's come to a screeching halt. They got a dumpster out there that's been sitting there forever. Can we do a follow-up and see if we can, and it's probably going on 2 years this Christmas, I think, if not longer.
Yeah, Ken can have his staff look into it.
Yeah, I'll have Glenn look at that. I know they were supposed to be able to go with it now, because
Well,
the family member finally got control to where they could do something.
it seems like they work on it a little bit, and then they disappear for a while, and then they work on it a little bit, and then they disappear a little bit, and I noticed the dumpster's starting to be a neighborhood dumpster while it sits there too, so. But I appreciate it, thank you.
Alderman Johnston.
I've got two things. One thing that's always kind of bothered me a little bit, and I almost had an accident there just the other day, the painting on, Eagles Parkway, when you're turning, west off of, Main, to turn into the, Old Town Market, the turning lane starts right there at the Old Town Market to turn left onto, Main. And so you don't have a turn into Old Town Market without getting into the lane that starts way too far. How often do we paint that, and can we change that to where it allows access into there or from that? 'Cause I pulled in there the other day, and I was quite a ways down from the intersection, and someone else started to turn into it that was gonna turn on the main.
Yeah.
They had the right of way.
We typically, and I'll let Ken talk about it, but I don't think we typically do road striping outside of the striping's completely missing or an overlay, but it's something that we could look at. Ken? you have-
Yeah, we can actually look and make sure that it is correct and how it's designed.
Right now, technically, you have to sit out in the westbound lane to make the turn. That lane is set for, I say, a
Okay.
turn on to Main, nothing into the Old Town Market. And the second thing I had, a curiosity thing, do we have some kind of procedure? I've noticed 2 weekends ago when they plowed, there was no snow on the road at all, a little bit of slush. And then living on a traffic circle, every time they go either way, they go around the traffic circle again. I think they're dropping their blades a lot of times when it's unnecessary. Does nothing but tears up the road, wear and tear on the equipment. I mean, sometimes they can be out there with squeegees better than plows, and I wonder, what our procedure is on that. I know when we call them in, we have to pay them overtime. But, to pay them overtime and have them out there plowing when there isn't anything to be plowed seems to be senseless too.
Well, typically we try to use the 2-inch mark. On one of the last storms, it was kind of unique in that there was some areas where it actually had something and others didn't. So we did try to make an attempt to have blades down when it was needed and up when not. A lot of the time they were out there, it was just spreading material. But it kind of, we try to have policies in place, but at the same time, it kind of varies on the storm. Sometimes you could have a little amount that actually requires more work than a larger snowfall. So generally, we try and go with the 2-inch. That last storm was a little unique in what it did. Just the temperature dropped too, and
But
I think for the most part, we didn't really have.
Is that 2 inches of accumulation, or 2 inches, the snow's 2 inches and there's no accumulation? That's what happened the last 2 weekends ago. There was no accumulation on the streets at all whatsoever.
Well, and part of it's trying to make a prediction as to what's gonna happen based on what's coming down at that time.
Well, I understand, but once we called them out, and they're out there on the road and there's no snow accumulation, why are they dropping their blades? I mean, I understand if there's.
Yeah, just because they're out, doesn't necessarily mean that the blade should be down. I agree with that. And I don't have specifics on what time or which driver had.
But every time it snows, living right there on the circle, I hear them all night. And, they've gone around the circle 4 or 5 times already, and there never was anything there. But they just don't pick up the blade, they just put it down just to keep it down, seems like.
Yeah, I don't, that's not the way it necessarily should be, no.
Next up, Mayor's report. Nothing to report. Next up is executive session. I believe we have a need for real estate and personnel. Okay, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn executive session for real estate and personnel.
So moved.
Motion from Alderman Arnold. Have a second? Second, Alderman Johnston. Any discussion? None, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Alderman Arnold?
Yes.
Alderman West? Alderman Headley?
Yes.
Alderman Scully?
Yep.
Alderman Schaper?
Yes.
Alderman Johnson?